I wanted to show you guys something that I came across in my research about the brain worms. So they always say that it was from uncooked fish or pork. So let me show you this guy's story.
What? They told me it was like uncooked pork sometimes. If I went swimming in the river or if I've been to like a third world country and I was like, well, I haven't done any of that recently.
It's been 8 years since he visited Mexico, where his mother is from. Luis is at home recovering now. Still,
So if it did happen 8 years ago, I guess that makes sense because these things do get encysted in your brain. But I've noticed in a lot of these stories, the typical you must have ate raw fish or raw pork. A lot of these people say they don't eat pork or they don't eat fish. And so it's interesting because there's a lot of evidence that says this can come from dogs. And it seems like a lot of people lately are coming down with this right here, neurocysterosis, where I got my little pointer here. So this isn't just like a minor thing that nobody can get, that just weird people that live in third world countries can get. But they're telling us it's coming from uncooked meat. So here's something about dogs. Dogs always eat uncooked meat. First off, they get it out of our garbage. The strays get it out of restaurant garbage. And let me show you this article here. More people now are feeding their dogs just raw meat. They think it's like the best way to go because that's how they used to live when they were wolves. But it presents a parasitic risk. This is where our culture is right now. People are buying all kinds of raw meat to give to their dogs. So the more raw meat that a dog has, the more parasitic risk there is. So check out what people are doing with their dogs. They give it all this raw meat. And I know some people they actually cook this meat before they give it to their dog, but even those people that are cooking meat, you can almost bet that they're slicing pieces of raw pork and raw fish and giving it to their dog while they sit there. So if these parasites come from raw meat and you're handling raw meat to feed it to your dog, then you're putting yourself at a risk. And then your dogs get it, and then you're going to breathe all of those particles off of your dog. Dogs can easily be a vector for this. Dogs are a living mammal that these parasites can get on. And then we're giving all the dogs raw meat that are supposedly the source of these parasites. People even go, like this video I'm pointing at right here, they go buy raw meat and find strays and take videos of themselves. Feeding my homeless dog his first meal. I'm going to give him some pork cutlets and some bacon strips. Like, this is all over the place. Raw meat for dogs. So, if raw meat is a problem with the parasites, then why are we going out of our way to handle it more and give it to our dogs? In several of these videos that I've looked at, these people are messing around with the raw meat in their kitchen, and then the dog is right there on the camera. So they're giving the dog all of this attention, baby talking the dog while they give it raw meat. They're not saying, hey, remember to wash your hands. Hey, cook this up to at least 160. Nope, they're sitting there giving all this attention to their dog and not having very many good raw meat handling skills. But they're certainly giving a bunch of attention to get the dog on the camera. Just the fact that you can find these parasites with homemade equipment or, microscopes in these videos, it shows how little research these dog people do. It's all about giving a bunch of raw meat. Many people buy the raw meat and they put it under a microscope and they do tests and you can see the parasites in the raw meat. So dogs are oftentimes finding their way into garbage containers. What is garbage gut in dogs and how is it treated? Huh. What do you think those dogs smell to get into the garbage? Meat, uncooked meat, restaurant leftovers, or if they're in the park, fast food and other type stuff. Here are some common scenes: dogs eating garbage, People also accidentally feed their dogs raw meat, probably more often than we know, because the dog steals it off of the table while you're trying to cook. So, having a carnivore that eats raw meat that is the source of all these parasites in your home, what is the risk of that? Seems to me the biggest risk of raw meat feeding is the spread of pathogenic and parasitic microorganisms to household pets, owners, and beyond. Yes, if they're going to blame all these parasites on raw meat, then why are we allowing ourselves to be exposed to more and more raw meat just so we can spoil our dogs? Why are we allowing stray dogs and loose community dogs to eat raw meat out of garbage and then be put into shelters and put into people's homes where those parasitic microorganisms that they got out of the garbage, kind of like all those Texas dogs I mentioned that were brought to Oregon? How many garbage cans did they eat out of before we brought them over here and let them give puppy kisses to our little kids? So, there it is. Raw meats, dogs, parasites. It all seems to tie together. What do you guys think about it?